G'day folks, I'm Max Taylor. I'm the editor of Caravan World magazine, and this is Ruby. She's our 1994 80 series Land Cruiser tow vehicle. We picked her up in regional Victoria not too long ago for a song. Now folks, make sure before you buy a second-hand vehicle to get an independent mechanical inspection. That's what we did with Ruby, so we knew before laying out our money that she needed new suspension. Her suspension is looking a little old and tired. Look at the way she sags in the back. So that's why we've come to ARB, the four-wheel drive specialist. ARB is going to fit some new Old Man Emu suspension front and rear. I'm really looking forward to seeing what ARB does with her. So let's go have a look at what's involved.
The fact that the shockers were done in when Ruby was purchased was never a deal breaker. They are, after all, designed to be replaced. Rarely will a shock absorber last the entire life of the vehicle, and in a 20-year-old four-wheel drive that's probably beaten around the bush a few times, it was no surprise they'd all but collapsed. The first step was to take out the old suspension, and the team at ARB wasted no time. While the team worked on swapping out Ruby's suspension, I caught up with ARB Sales and Marketing Manager Matt Frost at the company's Kilsyth, Victoria headquarters.
We've got a number of different packages to suit the vehicle, which enables us to really tailor the suspension system to the vehicle perfectly. What we do with when we're tuning a suspension to a vehicle, we look at the way the vehicle's set up, what it's going to be used for, and then match a spring and shock absorber selection that's perfectly tuned for that vehicle.
For Ruby, that perfectly tuned combination was Old Man Emu Nitrocharger Sport shock absorbers with ARB Coil Springs that have a 400 kilo rear load rating. These coils are manufactured from microalloy steel for strength and durability. They're double scragged before and after shock peening to reduce spring stress, while the ends of the coils are configured to exactly fit the vehicle so that they'll seat perfectly.
One of the things we've done with your particular vehicle, given you've got the rear bumper, the gas tank, and you've indicated that the vehicle's constantly carrying fairly heavy loads like camera gear and so forth, is we've actually put a spring in the back of the vehicle that is designed for a constant load of 400 kilos and upwards. So you can basically load the car right up to GVM, but what you'll find is that the suspension will perform at its optimum at sort of loads between 400 kilos and GVM. So it's a very strong spring. Now for most people who are generally carrying medium loads and so forth, we wouldn't go as heavy as that. We'd probably go down a little bit, and certainly that spring would still control loads up to GVM.
Yep.
But the spring you've got will just do it that bit better.
Commonly known as shock absorbers, they're more accurately termed a damper, as it's the springs that absorb the energy created by bumps on the road. The dampers stop the spring from continuing to oscillate. This is why it's critical to have a properly matched system. ARB says the OME Nitrocharger Sport shock absorbers are the most finely tuned shock absorbers on the market, with all valving work carried out in Australia by OME's ride control engineers. After the dampers and the coils were installed, the ARB guys went about replacing the old bushings from the front trailing arms that had begun to split and wear out. Now this required a fair amount of force to press out. Would you believe it? 5 tons of force to be exact. With the bushings replaced and the suspension installed, I can't wait to see what Ruby looks like back on the ground.
We generally lift Land Cruisers about 2 inches over standard. That gives you a nice increase in ground clearance to get things like transmissions higher off the ground, which is obviously great up in the Victorian high country on rocky trails and so forth. And then the other thing you'll find is, as well, you'll get much better wheel travel. The 80 series, being a live axle vehicle, has already got very good wheel travel, but with our long travel suspension, that increases even more. You'll find the handling's very good. We very much design our suspension packages to be a good all-round suspension solution, so it's a very nice package on-road and off-road. I guess the thing that's really unique about Old Man Emu and the reason that it is the #1 choice of suspension in Australia is that the spring and the shock absorber is well and truly a combination that's designed to work together. You'll find a lot of suspension companies out there, they'll buy their springs from one company and they'll buy their shock absorbers from another, whereas Old Man Emu is one of the very few where the whole kit is designed by the same team of engineers, and so basically what you get is the absolute optimum combination that's possible for your vehicle.
So there you have it folks, Old Man Emu suspension in Ruby, this classic 1994 80 series Land Cruiser. Fantastic suspension system. I'm really happy with the job they've done. It's a 50mm lift kit with 400 kilo rated springs in the rear, which I reckon are going to come in fantastic when it's time to hitch up vans with reasonably heavy ball loads. Right, well I'm Max Taylor, I got to jump in my car, got to head home, hitch up a van and test this out.
To find out more about this story and loads of other features and caravan reviews, be sure to grab the latest edition of Caravan World magazine. It's out now.